And now Class 2E will present their podcast.
So we were asked to build a podcast, but we were not allowed to use microphones like a normal podcast. So I have made a whole section about things that we have watched out of Macaroni and some glitter. We're not allowed on the internet because there's lots of bad people there. So I used glitter glue and some post paint, and I made a section about things that we have listened to. I have made a number of skits in the form of rolled up bits of tissue paper that I have glued to this large piece of paper, so you can see the funny things that I have made the pictures of. And lastly, I have used some construction paper and some bits of cut out potato like stamps to make a record of all of the things that we thought were funny. I used this keyboard to make this piece of music.
Greetings, strangers, queer and pheasant. I am not Laura Kate Dale.
I'm not Janice Magnet.
And together we are Wild Stallions.
At this point, I think we've lost it. We're here for another episode of Queer and Pleasant Strangers, that podcast where two queer trans ladies talk about our weeks, skits and things. We have a bit of a catch-up. We have a giggle.
We do.
We try and make each other have a bit of a giggle.
Bit of a laugh.
Bit of a giggle.
Having a laugh.
How's your week going, Jane?
It was barely begun.
Yeah.
And I'm already exhausted.
I know.
They stole an hour from us.
They
stole it.
They did. But as much as I grumble right now that they stole an hour from us, I will be very thankful at London MCM in October when they give us an extra hour during a convention. That's always fun.
I suggest that we just refuse.
Honestly,
no, you're not changing the times ever again.
I think you can steal the hour, but do it during work time. Like, I was having this conversation at work today. I was like, don't do it on the Sunday while everyone's sleeping. Do it on the Monday at 2 in the afternoon. Everyone gets back from lunch and they're suddenly an hour closer to the end of the day than they thought they would be. Just let everyone go, oh, heck. What the heck?
I suppose that works as long as you're not a night worker or something.
Yeah. So it's been a weird old week timing-wise. I spent all of today an hour out of where I thought I was. I continuously, anytime I looked at my computer, I thought we were an hour ahead in the day or an hour faster than where we were. I looked at my phone, and then I thought I was on the correct time, and I didn't know where I'd got lost. It's been one of those days.
It sounds very confusing and stressful and a bit...
Yeah. But it's alright, because we're here now. Although we're recording on a Monday. We normally record on a Tuesday. That's probably not helping my confused brain.
No. Do you want to tell people why that was?
Well, because by the time you hear this, I will have recorded. I don't know if it will be up. I went to London Games Festival. I haven't done it yet, but I will have done it. To go interview some people about a game that is absolutely huge, but no one really talks about because it's mainly kids that play it. I'm not mentioning the game name here because, I don't know if it's up yet. This is time travel. Time travel's weird.
Weird.
Yeah, that very big game involving blocks that kids play, but it's not the block one that everyone knows. It's the other block one.
Roblox?
Yeah, it's Roblox. Why not? I wasn't gonna say it, but I interviewed some Roblox people. Maybe it was good, maybe it was bad. I haven't interviewed them yet.
I've no real experience with Roblox beyond... I know they do toys of them in Toy Barn House.
Yeah, so, here's what I know about Roblox, and, I've done some research and stuff. It's kind of imagine Minecraft if you could, use servers that, the developers had created so you could make online games and you didn't have to buy your own server to host them on. And you could sell your own if you created a thing out of blocks to, sell to, a cool hat that people could buy in your game, you could just sell it. So it's create your own games, here's some very basic rule sets you can make games around, build them all out of voxel stuff, and then you can theoretically monetize that. It's kind of a game creation tool, kind of a platform for selling games through. It's its own weird, interesting thing.
And it's got a lot of problem with abuse and other stuff, hasn't it?
Here's the thing.
That's what I've heard about it. Anyway.
It may well do. I, in the future / past, am talking specifically to the person with a very complicated job title that basically boils down to in charge of stopping all of these children saying very mean things to each other 24/7 person. So I will probably...
One guy.
There is a woman who, it seems like her job is, like, stop these children from just, like, burning everything down with their hateful child thoughts. So that'll be an interesting discussion.
I feel like you need to offer that person a hug.
Yeah,
Would you like a hug? Because I imagine this is awful. Just awful.
So, yeah, that's why we're recording on a Monday today, but that's a video game. Should we talk about things we've played this week?
Let's talk about things we've played this week. What have you played?
Well, I got back into playing a game this week because you treated me to a thing that got me back into a game. Let's talk about Starlink some more. Starlink's that game that you finished and I stopped about, like, 3 planets in.
Yeah, I fought my way through despite not having all of the equipment that you could have got if you bought the digital deluxe edition.
Yeah, so we both played Starlink because we got sent some physical copies that came with, like, the nice Star Fox chip on Switch and stuff, and we both realised it's impossible to 100% that game with the stuff that comes in the physical collection, which is it's a real shame. You powered through and saw it through to the end of the story. I was like, no, I can't do 100% of the things on this planet. Because I was really enjoying it as just to fly around, do all of the things, not have to think too much, watch all the numbers go up as I did the things. And
the flying was actually quite satisfying.
Yeah, I really enjoyed just fly around a planet, shoot some things, continue, systematically fill out all the things.
Yeah.
And you went, and we've been keeping an eye on the physical figurines for, okay, if and when they drop in price to a point that we're like, yeah, fine, we'll get the minimum number of things required to 100% all the things.
Yeah, because I think originally the ships each were like £25.
Yeah.
The pilots were something like a tenner.
Yeah.
And the gun packs were like 15 quid.
They were definitely dropping, and I don't know what they were at now, but Jane decided to treat me and got me some plastic ships.
I got you what I think is everything you need to get 100% on that.
I think there's 2 pilot packs and 1 additional, 2 ship packs and 1 additional pilot, which gave us the weapons, the ships, and the pilots we needed.
Yeah, so it's Shade's ship, which comes with a gravity gun, and Shade is a bounty hunter.
Yeah.
So that means you can access all of the bounty hunter things, and we should be able to, I think. And you have access to opening gravity chests. There's a lot of gravity chests in space.
Heck yeah.
Every time I was coming across a shipwreck, all of the treasure in there was gravity based.
Yeah.
It's I can't get any of this, so I just stopping at them.
Well, that's what was stopping me playing, is I kept coming across things being like, what happened to the thing they won't let me?
And then I got you Judge's ship, which has a levitation-based weapon.
Yeah.
And that was the final element I believe you need. And I think you need Judge for some special stuff as well.
Yeah.
And then the green guy, the Carl something.
Yeah,
K-H-A-L or something.
Yeah.
And he's got specific missions as well. So
you did a thing and you treated me to a thing, and that was very nice, because I kept looking at them and going, I can't justify it for myself, but it's the kind of thing that when it's a gift for someone else, it's easy to go, okay, I did the thing. And I've been really enjoying that game again, honestly.
Good.
I think part of it probably helped that 3 planets in, I took a bit of a break for a while. I didn't it meant that I didn't burn out on it too much. And it's been really nice to just jump back in and continue systematically flying around planets, doing all sorts of missions, uncovering all the maps so I can see where everything is, and having my nice list. It's right, everything's done. It's the same sort of way that I've been enjoying my shiny hunting in Pokemon. It's a nice, maybe I'll put a podcast on or a YouTube video on, and it's a visual something to do that doesn't need too much focus. I can complete a task while I'm going, and I feel like I'm filling in the numbers, I'm ticking things off, and that's very nice for my brain. So, thank you. You have definitely helped me get back into enjoying that game that I was really digging up until the moment that I went, no, and stopped.
I hope that you can continue to enjoy it.
I get the feeling I probably will. I don't know when I'll finish it, but I think I'm probably going to finish this game.
I have tips if you need any.
Yeah, I'm going to slowly just progress my way across space.
Ooh.
So yeah, what have you been playing?
Well, I've been playing a bit more of that Hitman.
Ooh, how's that Hitman been going?
I finished the Bangkok Hotel one, which was one I just started last week. And although I've not really had a lot of time to play at all in the last week.
Yeah, doesn't help I took the laptop away at one point.
I should get up and play the game. Oh, I'm going to work with the laptop. Oh no. Here's your laptop. Maybe one day I will be able to afford my own computer.
One day we will have
system.
One day we will have additional laptops in the house so you can play while I have a computer at work.
Yay. Yeah, so I got through that, and I think the next level after that is the one I'm on now, and I'm not really enjoying it yet.
Yeah, you've been really struggling to work out how to, like, find an outfit that'll let you start, like, roaming properly.
Well, I've kind of got that, but this level it's basically like a guerrilla military camp.
Yeah.
And they're sort of obviously training themselves up for various operations, and everyone's really suspicious all of the time.
Yeah. It's not the kind of thing like the that fancy fashion show. You could just walk around in something fancy and everyone's like, it's fine, you're probably meant to be
Everywhere
here.
I've been so far has been largely a public place. It's the first time there's been sort of a very private place, where it's mostly military, and that has obviously made it much more reserved for what you can do. Plus, there's 4 targets to kill in this area.
Yeah.
So maybe I do need to try a bit more in it. I remember when I first got to like some of the other levels, like initially it was a bit like, I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah. Well,
but sometimes it is just getting that first foot in the door a bit and wandering around more.
I don't know if you'll agree with this comparison, but sometimes Hitman levels to me feel a little bit like puzzle boxes, or those kind of like difficult like puzzle contraptions with a whole deal, like where initially you might go, I just can't work out how to get anywhere with this, and I feel like I'm bashing my head against a wall. And once you get 4 or 5 steps in, things will start making sense. You're like, I've got room to play around a bit, I've got more options. It definitely opens up, but initially you can just look at these things and go, I don't know where to start. It's really daunting, I don't like it. And I don't know, that's how I felt about them occasionally.
Yeah, it's it is sometimes just trying to find the edge that you can sort of start peeling at.
Yeah, it's which side of the birthday present, like, can I get a finger in and start, like, pulling this thing
Whereas
open?
it's not been taped direct to the sides. But, yeah, it's still fascinating, the level of detail in it. And I don't think it's one I want to... It's a shame, because it's a huge fucking game.
Yeah.
So it really takes up a lot of space on our hard drive. But, like... I don't think it's a game I necessarily want to just sit and play all the way through.
Yeah.
Like, maybe I'd like to come and go to it a bit more.
I couldn't agree more. I think that, like, and you've done that a bit this week, because there's another game you've played that we'll talk about later that is very different to this, and...
Very. I needed a bit of a palate cleanser.
Yeah, sometimes you just... if it's a game where it is about working out, like, a solution and you're not finding it, sometimes you need to just think about something else and come back to it, fresh, I guess.
Fresh.
Yeah.
What about you? What have you played?
So I played a Power Rangers fighting game on the Switch that I got sent review code for. This is a Power Rangers Battle for the Grid.
Is that the one I sent you thing about not long ago? It's like, hey, there's a Power Rangers game going, oh my god!
I imagine probably so. This is the one people have been talking about recently. Okay. So I was very excited for, having a look at this. It looked very nice in screenshots. It's a 2-player fighting game. It's got a bit of a Marvel vs. Capcom thing where, like, each player picks, like, 3 fighters. So you can, like, rotate between your fighters and, like, you've got the ability to use people for matchups if you're being trashed. It's a nice little fighting game mechanically. It's got relatively good systems. It feels responsive. The problem is, and there's a couple of problems. One, this game was originally a mobile game.
Okay.
And while they've done a really good job of making sure it, like, for console owners, feels like a good, mechanically competent fighting game, visually, some of its backgrounds in particular, like, they've definitely updated the character models, but the backgrounds often are like, ooh, you can't get away with that in a game you're selling on console, that kind of background, that looks terrible.
Oh dear.
Also, the roster is tiny to start.
Sort of mobile.
9 characters. For a fighting game, 9 characters is a very small roster, like...
Especially when you can pick 3 of them.
Well, that's exactly my point, is when you're using at least 3 of them per player, like, you do one match where both players, like, don't overlap any characters, and you've used 2/3 of the roster in a single fight. That's not good. Particularly, like, when the whole appeal of this is they're talking about, like, bringing together Power Rangers from the whole, like, 25 years of the franchise. Like, there is a really good spread of a lot of classic characters, a lot of really good ones that, like, as someone that was really into, like, the first, like, 5 or 6 incarnations of Power Rangers, there's a lot of stuff I recognised and was very hype about. But, like, it's not good when very quickly it's like, oh, okay, I've seen everyone, and okay, like 4 months from now you've got 2 paid DLC characters coming. It's just really lacking in content. Like, maybe I've just been spoiled by shit like Smash Brothers, but I'm pretty sure the new Smash Brothers
I don't think anyone would be expecting Smash Brothers,
No,
but still.
But, like, when you compare it to something like... I don't know, like... This is...
MK11.
Yeah. Compare this to, say, Mortal Kombat 11, it's like... Yeah, this is not great. The one thing I'll give this props for is the fact that you can play as, I believe it's Lord Drakon, who is the combination green and white... combination green Power Ranger, white Power Ranger hybrid.
I thought it was the same person.
Yeah, same person. So, I won't get into the lengthy thing of this. There is a whole story in which, like, Tommy gets corrupted and basically is like, I have both the Green Ranger and White Ranger powers at once. I have them. I'm just going to use them both. I am now the combination Green and White Ranger and a bit of a villain.
What?
It's a very cool design and I get very hype. I don't know enough about the plot stuff to do with Lord Drakon, but I'm like, that's a really fucking cool character design. That's my 2 favourite Rangers. I want to be both of them at once. I don't care if you're a villain, I'm being you.
Heckens.
I got very excited about that, so... I got very excited about my Power Rangers, even if I don't know what's going on half the time. So, it's very light on content. I'd be hard-pressed to say that it's worth the money right now, but if you are, like, round someone's house and they have it, it's a fun time. But I don't know if I would say spend that money to buy it right now.
Yeah.
What about you? What you been playing?
I played one other thing one other thing this week. I played a Superman or Monster. Because it was like $2.50 on Chrono GG the other day.
Yeah.
Like, that looks interesting. So you play as either man or monster. And you can basically, as man, it's like pixel art, but with voxels.
Yeah.
Like really, really, really simple, like 8-bit style art, but 3D.
Yeah.
And it's got this weird, like, filter over it or something, and it looks really cool in pictures, but when you see it in motion, you're a bit like, what have you done to this?
Yeah, I can't personally put my finger on what looks weird about this game.
Yeah, it's very strange. But basically, you are as man, you are trying to sort of defend various cities around the world from attacking monsters.
And then planting flags in the monsters when you defeat them.
Yeah, you basically it's got a sort of real-time strategy element to it. So just before you get like 30 seconds, I think it is, before the monster arrives, and you can place down various sort of like gun turrets or tanks, helicopters, things like that, to try and hold them back. And then once the monster arrives, they will start wrecking stuff, and you basically have to try and destroy the monster before it completely wrecks the city.
Yeah, that would be less than ideal.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So you get points for rescuing civilians. You get points for obviously destroying the thing, destroying the monster. You can pick up sort of cash around. You'll get little drops randomly. And then when you've done all that, you can move on to the next level, and slowly you'll unlock new things like heavier tanks, heavier helicopters, things like that. Boats, even.
Some guy called Willy.
I think the character is. I think the character is called Super Willy.
Yeah,
Because when you go on the upgrade, it's like, this is Super Willy.
Yeah, part of me wanted to call him Big Willy, and I'm like, I don't think he's called Big Willy. That seems a little too on the nose.
He's very tiny though.
Yeah.
By comparison to the monsters. And the monsters are voxel style. Have you ever played Trove? Or seen Trove?
Yeah.
They kind of remind me of the creatures in that.
Yeah.
That's sort of like, although this is a big blocky world, we have creatures made of much smaller blocks. And your main character man is like 6 by 2. Or something like that. 3 by 2 by 2, I think. Probably makes sense of his sort of character height. And then these little dangly legs hanging off him. And then a weird bit that hangs off the back of his head that's supposed to be the peak of his cap. And then the monsters are made up of like much smaller bits and sort of just stomp around. Some of them are just palette swaps, so there's like different skin colours. There's one that looks kind of like Bowser and is called Browser. There's like a Wolfman, there's Lucifer. You fight Lucifer at one point.
Hell yeah.
Literally hell yeah. And then so basically you can play as man or monster. So I've just started the monster campaign because I was getting a bit bored of manning, to be honest.
Yeah,
like,
who wants
15 levels in?
You know what I say? Who wants to be a man?
Certainly not me. I've been quite enjoying sort of smashing the city a bit. It's a bit harder because man is apparently well prepared. Apparently I trained them up too well while playing as man.
Oh no!
And now, you lose health really, really quickly. So the best thing to do is either have lots of specials, which you can get things like spin your tail round, and throw fireballs.
Stuff that, like, gets you some space and...
Yep.
Yeah.
And then you can eat people for a little bit of a health boost.
That sounds delicious.
It is, but they're not very nutritious, so you get like a tiny amount of health, so you have to make sure you've killed enough of the armaments around the city that it's like worth pausing to start eating people.
Yeah, I get you.
It's sort of fun and definitely worth the $2.50 I paid for it.
Nice.
What have you played?
The only other thing I've really been playing is Pokemon. I've been continuing my shiny hunt. Been searching for a shiny Machop for God knows how long. Can't fucking find one. I've been in the cave between Cerulean City and Lavender Town. I have found in my search there, all of which I already own, shiny Golbat, shiny Onix, shiny Geodude, shiny Charmander, shiny shiny Cubone. Not one.
Why didn't you go in there before?
I don't know. Apparently, it's a real treasure trove for everything but the Machop. That they're everywhere, but none of them are shiny. Part of me during this podcast has been tempted to be like, I'll just turn the switch on and leave it silent with the screen going and see if I see one. I managed to catch a shiny Ghastly during an episode of Dice Funk a while back.
Well,
just by having the screen going and every now and then just check. No, okay. So yeah, that's my continued adventure. I think that's everything we've played.
I think so.
So, this isn't a thing I've played, but before we wrap up quickly, I do have something gaming related here.
You do? Tell me about this.
El
Presidente.
There's a story here. So I got like a review copy of Tropico 6. I've not really put much time into it yet. It was a digital code, and I went into my office at work recently, and there was a parcel. They also sent us a physical thing for Tropico 6. They sent us the game on disc, entirely in German.
Ooh,
I think we might have received the wrong person's parcel by some chance.
Or not.
A passport for the fake South American island nation, also in German. and in German, some Tropico 6 branded German...
Limo.
Yeah, Fritz Lemo. Homage Leon del Presidente. Hominion del Presidente. From what I can tell, this is some kind of 5% fruit. It's vegan!
It is vegan.
Do you want to try some as well?
Then let's try some.
We have some, yeah. Also, one weird thing, if you look through the label, Tropico is written in, like, backwards.
Okay. That is strange.
But, like, I can't see
it's written on the back of the
yeah, I think
label as
on the
well.
back of the label there's a Tropico thing, but,
Oh, weird. I wonder if there's something secret.
I think it's 5% lime, 5% fruit content lime fizzy drink.
There's also a picture of a flag and what looks like a lemon holding a flag.
There's a baseball with a megaphone.
Oh, is it baseball?
On the left-hand side?
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Do you want to?
So that's a baseball with a megaphone, and that appears to be shouting at a baseball holding a flag with a sun on it. There we go.
Try some Fritz limo. That's. I can't.
How long have you had it open?
Literally like an hour.
Okay. It's flatter than I was expecting.
Yeah, it's kind of it's lightly sparkling. Like you can see some bubbles happening in there. It's the flavour. It's not entirely lime. It feels like it's got like an almost plasticky flavour to it.
Yeah, it feels like it would make a good slush puppy, maybe.
Maybe, yeah. It like I feel like if it was sharper, I'd enjoy it more. Like it feels simultaneously it's almost apple-y. Like it's almost like a little appetizer-ish.
It kind of reminds me of something my mum used to drink called Aqua Libra.
I enjoy this more if I tell myself it's apple flavour. If I stop trying to think it's lime, it's more palatable. So that would be Tropico 6 Fritz Limo. I have a lemon one at some point to try. That I will probably drink that on Podquisition. That probably will already be up, but I drank this one first, listeners.
Yeah, because we record on Monday.
Yeah, so that's everything gaming we've done. Time for this.
Oh goodness, I've got another terrible hangover. Do you have a spare sherry over there?
I don't, as it happens.
What?
I've run out of sherry.
You've run out
I
of
know,
sherry?
this is me of all people. I've run out of sherry.
But you're one of the sherry ladies.
Well, see, I have to tell you, I found out some terrifying news the other day.
Terrifying news.
So this is going to sound like a bit of a side diversion, but I promise this will come back to sherry.
Yes, you.
Yes. So, you know how we both are anti-Brexit?
Well, yes, I voted Remain, certainly.
We voted Remain, and,
we've been on the marches.
Yeah, we've not necessarily been as active as we could be, but we were definitely anti-Brexit.
I mean, my hip will only take so much, and obviously I've been quite drunk for a lot of it.
Indeed, you see. But did you know most of our sherry comes from the EU?
I mean,
it comes
fully aware.
No, it comes from Spain. They make all the wine, and all the sherry, and all the wine that is used to make the sherry. Brexit is causing shortages. I can't get sherry right now, and if Brexit goes through, we might never get sherry again.
Right.
Or even worse, we might get less sherry for the same price, and that's just as much of a crime.
I am very, very disappointed with this. Right. Get the two hooks. I'm attaching the south coast to Spain at this very instant. I'll drag us there myself if I have to.
I will go to the Houses of Commons and I will throw my empty sherry bottles over the fence at the building. All those MPs won't be able to ignore me when I'm throwing sherry bottles their way. I have unlimited ammo.
To be fair, I wouldn't. Yes, I mean, well, those we haven't recycled already, but I'm not afraid to just glass Theresa May at this point.
I am not going to let our sherry supplies run dry, dear.
Right. Let's get going then.
You're not taking our sherry! You're not taking our sherry!
You're not taking our sherry!
You're not taking our sherry!
You're not taking our sherry! You're not taking our sherry!
Also, we quite like the EU!
Well, that too, dear.
That too.
Yes, yes. Marvellous. Do you have anxiety calling the doctor?
Yeah.
Do you sometimes find it hard to motivate yourself?
Mm-hmm.
Are you concerned about your health, but really struggle to keep an eye on it yourself?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, that.
Do you sometimes zone out for a bit too long and wish there was somebody there to just sort of nudge you a bit?
Please, I could really do with that.
Someone that could just book things, order things, and help you with things, and remind you of the things you have to do today.
Yeah, this sounds like exactly what I have. It's going wrong in my life and what I need.
Try the personal support bot. It's an adorable little neoprene-covered robot that will do all sorts of tasks for you. It's got a diary, it can sample your voice and call doctors and make appointments for you. It will take notes of things, so if you're nervous about speaking to people in person, they can do that for you. They can prompt you if you're starting to drift off a bit. It can monitor your health. It's simple and quick. If you happen to have diabetes, it can check your insulin levels.
Where do I get one?
You can't. They're fantasy.
Oh.
But it seemed like a really good idea, right?
Yeah.
Kickstarter?
Please.
Yeah.
Yay.
Laura.
Yes.
Laura.
Yes.
What have you watched?
What have I watched? We watched... Oh, you haven't asleep. We watched a thing together this
We
week.
did. We went to the cinema.
We went to the cinema and we went and saw one of them new motion pictures.
Motion picture.
A motion picture. We went and saw Jordan Peele's new horror film, Us. So for anyone who doesn't
We were
know...
there.
Yeah, we were. Jordan Peele was originally known for a sketch comedy show called Key and Peele that he was on with... there were two of them. One of them was Key, one was Peele. This is Peele. And then he went and, like, his first film he ever made was, like, amazing. It was called Get Out, and I believe we've talked about it on this show before. It is a really, like... It is a modern horror film that feels like it makes really smart use of timely things in the world, and... He has made another horror film, and once again he's made a very good horror film, very interesting.
He's a good horror boy.
Didn't see it coming. A lot of really interesting use of cinematography. Some of his shots are fantastic.
And choreography was quite
Yeah,
impressive, especially toward the end.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff in this film that, like, even if I have some things I'm unsure how I feel about, like, I cannot deny that this was an interesting and well put together film. So yeah, do you want to start us off on tell us about Us?
So it starts with a little girl who's gone to a boardwalk arcade.
Yeah.
With parents. Mum goes off to the bathroom. Dad is playing whack-a-mole, and she just wanders off on her own with her candy apple.
Yeah, wanders into the hall of mirrors down on the beach.
Yeah, and slightly spooked by the whole situation. That owl.
that owl.
And she's wandering around, all of the lights go out suddenly, and she's trying to whistle to calm herself, and she hears whistling coming from another direction, and she just sort of backs up into what appears to be a mirror, and when she bumps into something, and turns around, and sees the back of her own head.
Yeah, creepy.
Which does not turn around with her.
Yeah, and she's definitely been unsettled for a while.
Yeah, especially when that person that she has bumped into with her face then turns around and just grins in the most creepy way imaginable.
So we skip forward. She's grown up, she's, somewhat recovered, she's able to speak again, that's a good start.
Yeah, we have a little bit of the therapy stuff of her not being able to speak.
And her and her family go and stay not far away from this boardwalk. Her husband tries to convince her, like, let's go to the beach, and she's clearly like, don't want to go back there, no.
Let's have a look at the beach.
And they eventually go back to the beach, and mysterious coincidental happenings begin to happen. Oh, it's all something's brewing.
Yeah, and stuff happens. I don't think we want to get too much more into goings on at this point, but there is some great acting in there.
Yeah, I think Lupita Nyong'o, who plays the main role in this film, she does amazing work.
Definitely.
I think I don't think it's necessarily, like, a big spoiler to say, like, she plays 2 characters in this film. Yeah, she plays more than one character in this film and does an amazing job at doing so. There is great horror, lots of stuff to dissect afterwards, very good twists that'll have you afterwards going, "Ooh, I want to see that film again and review it from a new perspective." Yeah, there is a lot about that film to unpack.
Yeah, it's the first film in a while where we've come out and then spent maybe 6 hours talking about it on and off.
Well, yes, but also I think before that there was a few minutes of just silence. We were both like, huh, and we were like, we couldn't. It took a minute to get thoughts into place.
Yeah.
And then, like, for several hours afterwards, we kept just going like, "Oh,
But
what
this-
about that though?
Yeah.
Ooh, what about that?"
Yeah.
It was also funnier. Like, there were more.
I mean, it helped the people sitting next to us.
Oh yeah, but like,
Those people got killed way quicker than the other people. Oh yeah, friend in the cinema. Because the issue so far has been like a lack of efficiency on the part of the killing.
well, here's the thing. Even other than that, like, there are things like musical cues, for example, that are definitely played for humour.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of this film that, like, I expected it to be unrelentingly bleak once, like, the horror aspect of the film arrived.
Yeah.
But it's definitely not. Like, there are moments for levity, for bonding, for, like...
Just some great acting that's
Yeah.
like really played for laughs. Like the thing on the boat.
Yeah, even when, like, sometimes when violent things are happening involving, like, children being adjacent to violence, they still find ways to make it quite funny. Like,
Yeah.
there were times where our whole screening laughed.
Yeah.
And, like, it wasn't because it was bad, it was because they'd found ways to... And I think we had this conversation about, like, Jordan Peele comes from a comedy background, and, like, comedy is nothing if not, like, setting up expectations, building up tension, and then finding some way to relieve that expected, like, here's what you expect, oops, we did something different.
Well, I was talking to somebody else
Yeah.
about this with regards to the sort of foundations in comedy, was that with comedy you have to sort of do comedy in lots of things, especially with sketch comedy.
Yeah.
Like, so you're doing a joke about, like, jocks in comedy.
Yeah.
Or a joke about this theme in comedy, and this in comedy, and probably some horror stuff too. I've not seen a huge amount of Key and Peele.
Yeah.
So you get, like, lots of different disciplines.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing, is, like, they definitely took advantage of the fact that both horror and comedy set up an expectation and then find some way to subvert it. And while usually it is, here is a scary or a horror-based subversion of the expectation, they did sometimes set up the expectation and then use the comedy to release it.
Yeah.
And I think it worked well.
Yeah. And also, I think it works better from a psychological point of view
Yeah.
to occasionally break the tension with a laugh
Yeah.
rather than more horror, because that then
Yeah.
means that you're never quite sure what's going to happen.
That's it.
Bit more offsetting.
It used comedy just sparingly enough to always give you that moment of, maybe there's some hope, maybe this'll go okay, oh wait, no, horror again, oh but maybe, oh but no, it played that so well.
Edging
Yeah.
your emotions.
Considering, like, this, Jordan Peele has made 2 films. They are both incredibly good films. He is such a director to watch, and, like,
definitely want to see more.
He's proven himself so well. This is, I believe, the best financial opening weekend for a horror film ever.
Oh, wow.
This film has, like, fucking broken financial, like, walls down. Like, this film has done incredibly fucking well, and I am so happy, because I was worried when our screening was in, like, a small screen.
Yeah, I've never been in, like, though, of the cinema that we go to, there's, like, a couple that are clearly much smaller than the others. First of all, I was, like, it's a couple of days before we're going to see, and it's looking, there's quite a lot of seats taken.
Yeah.
Because usually we go on like a Sunday. This is I think the first time in a while we've been on a Saturday.
Well,
It was a smaller cinema, but it was absolutely ram-packed by the time they started.
Here's why I think it maybe was a smaller screening, is we went in the middle of the day on a weekend to a horror film. I imagine that, like, on a Saturday at 2 in the afternoon, most of the screens are probably booked up for the family-friendly films that everyone is, like... You probably use the big screens for the horror films in the evening.
Maybe. I mean, the last horror film I think I went to see in cinemas was probably Silent Hill. And it was a huge cinema, and there was me and 2 other people.
Yeah. But yeah, Us. That's a good film.
100% recommend.
So many theories and things to pick apart afterwards.
I want to see it again.
Yeah, same. I'm like, I want to re-see it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I want to look up fan theories as well.
I need to tell you about. I've seen some good fan theories today.
Good. Well, we shall talk about that off podcast.
Yes. So, what else have you watched this week?
We watched some other things together. We watched that Paddington.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of good things about that Paddington from, like, a lot of adults very sincerely, like, being like, that's a good film. It's a good family-friendly comedy.
It's alright.
I think it was pretty decent. It's
faintly Poppins-esque.
Yeah, it wasn't too heavily reliant on the slapsticky stuff. Like, there's that scene in the bathroom where it's like, he's there, he doesn't know how the bathroom works. I think most of it was reasonably well put together comedy film.
It was a good romp for sort of suitable for children. I have a feeling that and the film we will talk about in a bit might have originally been designed with 3D in mind.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot. You can spot a film that's been designed for, because they have those little roller coaster scenes.
Yes, less this, more the next one.
More the next one, certainly. But
yeah, Paddington was definitely a decent enough family film. It's not the kind of thing that you watch and go, I want to turn this off.
Yeah. I mean, we watched it. It was alright.
If I were, this is the kind of film, like, if this came on like a Christmas day with family around and they're like, well, let's just watch it. Like, I wouldn't be bored watching it.
Yeah, I mean, if I was sort of in a place where it was on already, I wouldn't automatically want to turn it off.
Yes, exactly. I thought it was a decent enough little family comedic romp.
It's alright, it's quite white.
Yeah. Terribly, particularly for a film that mentions Peru as often as it does. It's very white.
And also is supposed to be set in London.
Yeah, that too.
And there's a weird thing about, like, when it's set, because obviously it's got, like, modern ticket barriers when they go to the train station.
Yeah.
But the stations themselves look like some of the older designed ones.
Well,
and then there's like modern Route Master buses on there.
There's the guy in the antiques shop who talks about the fact that he came over, and he implies he came here in World War II trains. He was shipped over with the tag around his neck, probably to live with a relative. So we're probably looking. You would have to imagine 50, 60 years post World War II, children being shipped over. Yeah. Probably not far off of now.
I don't know, there are bits of it that feel like they're supposed to be old Paddington.
I feel like it's meant to be a couple of decades ago, at least, maybe.
But it's still very, like, they had a brand new Route Master bus in it.
Yeah, I don't know how to mentally pass that.
Yeah, it feels like everything in it is slightly anachronistic.
Yeah.
Like, it is a time out of time, perhaps.
I don't think it's necessarily a problem.
No, not necessarily. It's a bit weird. Should we talk about the next one that's also a bit...
Yeah, sure. You talk about this one.
House of Magic. I was not as into it. It's got a 47% on Metacritic and a 6.3 on IMDb.
Well, it's what is it? It's a film about a cat.
An abandoned cat becomes part of a retired illusionist household. When the conjurer lands in hospital, the cat and his new friends have to join forces to stop the man's nephew from selling their magical home.
I will say the very few thoughts I have on this film. I thought it was reasonably well animated for a film of this type. It didn't look as cheap as one might expect.
Yeah.
Clearly looks like it was designed for 3D. Lots of the darts are falling towards the camera. We're going down the banister. Lots of 3D scenes.
Yeah.
I thought the pacing was relatively it might be slapstick humour, but at least kept a decent pace to it.
That's alright. It was quite sweet in places.
The pacing of things when the old man's doing his magic and the things going through hats and coming out, it was all nice and pacey, and it felt like it moved at a good clip.
Yeah, and obviously you always seem to be moving between sort of fairly actiony scenes. There's the cat getting abandoned in the first place, and then finding their way into the house, meeting some of the residents of the house, being chased around, getting back in, the magic show.
A lot of the end of that film felt very animated Animal Home Alone. It's set up lots of
that's literally what it is.
Lots of set up slapstick traps to stop these people from coming into the house.
Yeah.
That is very much the formula.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Pigeons poo in on people.
Yeah.
Sorry, doves.
Lovebirds. Lovebirds.
I think it's because they're a couple. I don't know if that's...
that would be my assumption.
Yeah. But, we watched that, and, actually that was the... Of the 3 films we watched yesterday, that was the last one.
Yeah.
Do you remember the one in the middle?
I don't know. What did we watch?
It was Alvin and the Chipmunks.
Oh,
3,
Alvin and the Chipmunks. That film forces a lot of songs in where they don't need to be.
I mean, it's Alvin and the Chipmunks.
Yeah.
What happens when you accidentally put a 33 on a 45, or the other way around? I can't remember.
I don't know what that phrase means.
It's a record reference for when you put records on at the wrong speed.
Okay, okay, yeah, sorry, I see what you mean. Some chipmunks fly off of a cruise ship. They're on an island. One of them learns to be responsible. Songs happen.
One of them gets bitten by a spider. There's too much Lady Gaga.
Now he's French and possibly high. I'm not sure.
He's French, possibly high, and much more brave. Theodore is, as always, the coolest and cutest of the chipmunks, followed closely by Simon, and then Jeanette's the best of the chipettes.
I will say this for that film. I will object to any film that decides to make use of Lady Gaga's Born This Way but cuts it off before it gets to the bit where it lists all of the sexualities and things that song's about. That will always be a personal bugbear. It's you did the gay song that everyone likes, but you stopped before the bit where it's we're gonna talk about all the gays now. It's oh no, let's get...
I mean, if you want to talk about films that cut songs off before they got to the quote unquote good bit, 5 on it in Us. Does not get to most of the bits about rolling joints and buying weed.
No, that song's not about drugs.
It's a dope song.
It's a dope song. But yeah, no. Alvin and the Chipmunks 3, exactly what you would think.
It passed an hour and 20 odd minutes of my life that I will never get back.
I am terribly sorry that you'll never get that bit of your life back. I'm very sorry.
I mean, some of the things around that were very lovely, but Theodore is cute.
What else have we watched this week?
That's everything I've specifically watched.
What about me? I continue to watch stuff on College Humor's Dropout subscription.
Still worth it?
I'm on my second week of just binging content, and there is still a mountain of stuff I haven't gotten around to watching.
And how much does this cost you so far?
It's what, £4 a month?
Oh, a month, okay.
Yeah, so I had my free week, and I'm on my first week of having it for a month.
Ooh.
I've been pretty heavily content binging those 2 weeks. There is a lot of stuff that I have not seen. There is no app to watch it on the telly, at least on PS4. They're apparently working on that. Doesn't exist yet, which is a bit of a bummer, but...
Maybe get it in there.
Yeah, I've been watching on my phone, having a good time. I still think it's worth it. We'll see how long it takes me to, power through the stuff that interests me.
I think at this point you've had £4 worth of value out of it, so anything more is a bonus, and you don't necessarily have to keep doing it.
Well, that's what I mean. There's no, requirement to keep doing it, and, I'm definitely getting £4 worth of entertainment out of a month of it, so worst case scenario, let's say like I do 2 months, I've gotten through everything, I'm like, yeah, I'm fine.
And then you don't for a couple of years and go back to it and binge it again.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I think I'm doing alright with it. I did watch a couple of other things I wanted to mention. I went back to watching some BuzzFeed Ladylike, which is that channel I've brought up before where there is a nice selection of diverse types of ladies doing humorous, amusing content. The one I watched today was them trying on edible underwear and seeing how wearable it was. Like, what if you just wore it around the office?
I mean,
how
it sounds
viable is
thrashy,
this?
but...
Yeah, one of them specifically, like, of the two women doing it, it's like, I just got over a yeast infection, so I'm going to be wearing this over my jeans. I'm going to be wearing this over my jeans for now, because I don't want to, I think that's just inviting danger.
Feed the birds.
Yeah, there were a lot of discussions about, like, the fact that, like, you try and walk in, like, a candy, like, the sort of hard sweets.
Oh, God, not those.
One of those. It's like, you try and walk in that, it just falls down. It is not designed for movement, or for, like, hips moving.
Oh, no. I suppose they roll on you at that point.
Yeah, exactly. The speed at which the sweets in your butt crack are going to get very sweaty very quickly. Also, panty line is interesting when it's sweets. That gives a very pronounced panty line. It was an amusing video to watch.
I can imagine.
She wore them around her office for a total of about 8 minutes and was like, no, this is not doable, off they go.
Okay. Were they just the hard candy ones? Did they get, like, the jelly ones?
Oh, they got one of the jelly ones and, like, could not get it to put together well enough to actually wear it.
Oh, okay.
They were supposed to, like, lick it to, like, stick the pieces together.
Well, that sounds awful.
Yeah, no, it was just falling apart, and they were like, no, we couldn't even get this on.
I've seen them for sale, but I've never thought to buy them before.
Yeah,
it just seemed ridiculous.
Yeah, no, it was... I won't spoil it, but their journey trying to put on a pair of those was amazing.
I mean, this is me who once bought, like, mint choc chip body paint and ended up just spreading it on toast for the most part.
Nice.
Because people get sticky.
Yeah, exactly. On another BuzzFeed thing, BuzzFeed Unsolved is back to doing their true crime stuff. There was quite an interesting true crime one today about a shark that was in an aquarium and just threw up a human arm with a tattoo of 2 boxes on it.
Was it a baby shark?
I'm pretty sure it was a mommy shark, or a daddy shark. No, we're not doing that.
We already did.
We did it. Shark throws up just like a whole human arm. It's been in this aquarium for about a week. And there's this whole really interesting mystery around it. Like, they identified whose arm it was. And there was this, like, mystery about, like, did the person chop off their own arm to fake their own death because they were involved in some shady stuff, or was this a big extortion ring that was going on? There's some really interesting possibilities of what might have gone down.
Bloody hell.
At the time this happened, the person who was the prime suspect mainly got away because all that was found was the arm, and the prosecutors were basically like, the defense people were like, you can't prosecute our client because no body was found. You can't prove a murder happened because there's no body. You found an arm. An arm is not a body.
Nobody once told me.
Yeah, they successfully, like, argued themselves out of court by being like, an arm is not a body, so there's no body, so what crime happened? And under the law to the word, as it was at the time, they were like, oh shit. We found an arm and we know whose arm it is through fingerprints, but we apparently can't prove that there is any... Because that was it, is they just argued like,
probably, might be alive.
Yeah, maybe...
Just amputated.
Yeah, maybe this is a crime of amputation. You don't know that anyone's dead.
Okay.
It was an interesting crime.
Yeah, I guess.
And the last one is a YouTube channel I don't know if I've talked about before. Girlfriend Reviews.
You're beautiful, you've got lovely hair, I'm enjoying your nips right now. It's topless.
It's very warm in this office right now. The window's open, I'm still a bit hot.
She's very hot, can confirm.
So, Girlfriend Reviews on YouTube is a channel where this particular woman, she doesn't really play many video games herself, but her boyfriend plays a lot of video games. So she will review video games, not based on having played them, but on what it's like living in a house with someone playing them.
Okay.
She'll do a lot of, like, I had to watch a lot of this being played, and, like, I had to put up with my boyfriend while he played it, this was the experience for me. Here's my rating of whether I think you should let your boyfriend play it or not, because, you know, she will occasionally... Yeah, it's like, I would say, whether you should let your boyfriend play it, you know, what's it going to be like for you if they play it? What's your experience going to be like? It's all very tongue-in-cheek. This is not a sincere, like, oh, you haven't given them permission or anything.
I mean, that's how they dumb each other. But...
Well, she will, like, she does sometimes play games by herself, and this is what got me thinking about playing it, talking about it today, was her most recent video is the second video game she's ever completed, which was Pokemon Let's Go Eevee. And her boyfriend,
close to your heart.
her boyfriend is like big into Gen 1 Pokemon. And she was like, yeah, but I won't play this one though. So she wouldn't let him play it. She's like, no, I get to play this video game. And it was a lot of him getting very annoyed while she was like, I don't know how type matchups work, but screw it. I get to put a hat on this little fluffy thing. Yay! And she sings a very good made-up rendition of the Pokemon theme tune that she's reworded toward the end of it. She's not a big fan of the co-op in that game, which makes sense. Her stuff is all very entertaining. I very much enjoy her perspective on games. So check out Girlfriend Reviews. Yeah, is a very amusing channel.
There's any time in my life.
Yes. Have you watched anything else?
No, that's all I watched.
Well then, time for this.
Laura, we've got a new sponsor!
Who's our new sponsor?
Our sponsor this week is... Oh, hang on, I've not opened the email yet.
Okay, it's fine. I'm sure it can't be anyone, like, too bad.
Oh.
What?
It's, I'm not sure how comfortable I am with this, to be honest. It's,
Ooh.
It's a famous publisher / developer.
Yeah, one that, like... Pretty sure they already get too much airtime on this show. I don't think we should be giving them any more airtime.
Electronic Active Softworks are offering one free loot box in Divisory Political Shooter.
Do we want to just maybe skip this one? I think that maybe we just don't incentivize them getting money.
Yeah.
This week we have no sponsor, and definitely no one contacted us, and we will remember to cut all of this out. We definitely didn't have a sponsor this week.
You're a genius.
I know.
Inside the boardroom of Electronic Active Softworks.
Hi. Yeah. So... Meeting.
Yeah, we do those.
Yeah. So, we've been buying up all of the studios and then firing all the people from the studios, but we still own, like...
We own everyone's childhoods, basically.
Yeah,
like every name of a game they remember, we own it. Yeah. We own it.
Yeah, I mean, if you played it on a Commodore 64, if you played it on a Spectrum, a NES, a SNES, anything that wasn't first party, and, thanks to Sega, even some of those, right?
We just got them all, like, thrown in a drawer somewhere, rummaged through the crumbled up bits of paper about it.
I'm pretty sure we've got Billy Hatcher somewhere, right?
Yeah.
So anyway, we're thinking about going through some of the classic franchises that we own, and maybe we could just like bring them back, because people are like all about the nostalgia trip right now.
Yeah. So like, what were you thinking? Like high budget, faithful remakes that really bring the. I couldn't even get through it.
I mean, you work here, right? You know what we do.
Yeah, no, how are we gonna cash cow this?
I mean, like, I'm thinking mobile games, things that like with timers, and you can shorten the timer. I mean, obviously, none of the stuff you will ever own. We're gonna, like, rip the heart and soul out of these games. We're just gonna plaster a name on top of just endless microtransactions.
Oh, yeah, no, we're gonna make Billy Hatcher and the Giant Egg the mobile cookie clicker loot box, randomized what's it game.
Yeah, exactly. And
You tap on enough of Billy's eggs, and then you get a loot egg. You crack it open. Now you find more Billy Hatcher eggs inside. I don't remember
that
what
Molyneux thing with the box.
I don't remember what that property was about, but it said eggs in the title, so now it's all eggs.
Yeah, push the egg around. You can roll it. You can have like a little desktop egg. Remember when like desktop assistants were
yeah. A little animated GIF that just sits on your desktop. Now it's Billy Hatcher.
How about this? Like, we can make a little bit more money. How about we put a Bitcoin miner in it?
Why haven't we done this with every piece of software?
I don't know, but I've just had that idea now.
Sir, you are a fucking genius.
I know.
So, what's gone in your eary pops?
Not much this week.
No?
I've done a lot of, just keeping up on shows I already listened to. I caught back up on Taz, on the Adventure Zone. That continues to be really good, and, it takes my attention. I realise that I can't, if I'm not paying 100% attention to an episode of the Adventure Zone, I keep having to rewind, considerably and go, okay, what happened?
Yeah.
So I found it's a show I actually have to stop and make an effort to listen to rather than multitasking, but the Amnesty continues to be a very good season.
Yeah, I recently caught up on it. I realised that I'd sort of lost track of it. And then because of the way my podcasting app works, I listened to the most recent 4 episodes in reverse order at double speed.
In reverse order?
Yes.
Why?
Because I didn't realise how far back I was. I thought I was on the most recent. I was like, I don't know what's happened here. And then I thought, well, this must be the one. And I was like, oh, I'm not entirely sure I know how they got there either. And then I listened to the next one and I was like, okay, no, this is sounding much more familiar. And then I listened to the last one and I'm like, I've definitely listened to the beginning of this. I don't know if I've listened to all of it. But I have now definitely listened to the last one.
Oh dear. Oh, that's, I don't even...
Your brain about
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
That, my brain is... No, okay. Just keep talking. What else have you listened to this week? Can't have this conversation.
but what if you could?
I love you. What have you been listening to?
Let's have a look. I listened to some Bobby C Sound TV.
What was that?
They're a musical artist.
Okay, tell me about them.
They did a track called Ian's Delight, which is Ian Drury and the Blockheads, Sex and Drugs and Rock and Roll.
Oh yeah, I know that song.
But done as a sort of glitchy dance music track.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really good.
I'm glad
if you like dance music and you like a bit of Ian Drury, that's definitely one to go. You actually go for the Pokemons now.
I'll put the screen on. I'm going to see if that matchup shows up.
What if matchup shows up though?
Well, then I'll press X and I'll pause and I'll wait until there's a convenient moment to catch it. And we're not in the middle of a thing.
I wanna be the very best. Like that guy over there.
That guy's not the best. He's a hiker stood in not Mount Moon, whatever the rock tunnel.
Oh, there is a person over there. I was just being silly.
No, he's a hiker. I'm pretty sure he's got a Geodude and that's it.
Hey. Let's not be mean to Geodude. Geo.
Dude.
Okay.
I've only listened to one other thing. So what else have you listened to?
I listened to that Jefferson Airplane.
Oh yeah,
White Rabbit.
Oh. That is indeed a good track.
It's a bit trippy.
It is a bit trippy.
It's about Alice in Wonderland, maybe.
I wonder why Alice in Wonderland-ish tracks would sound a bit trippy. Ooh.
Because of the whole size different thing. Was it C.S. Lewis?
Yeah.
C.S. Lewis?
Yeah. C.S. Lewis definitely. C.S. Lewis
he had a mental health problem, didn't he?
Isn't that The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe?
Yeah.
C.S. Lewis. Lewis Carroll?
Lewis Carroll. I knew it was a Lewis.
Yeah, Lewis Carroll, I think, is.
I knew. Then I nearly went to A.A. Milne and was like, no, that's really good.
Tell me about Lewis Carroll.
Lewis Carroll. I think he had a mental health problem where scale was sometimes an issue. Because people go, oh, it's drugs, but apparently it wasn't. He had some problem.
Yeah,
which is interesting because lots of people that take magic mushrooms,
people
who aren't me,
yes, of course,
have sort of cited having issues with scale and things, and the fact that Alice does at one point eat a mushroom probably doesn't help with that.
Yeah, no, I can understand why people think it's about drugs, because Alice eats a mushroom and then size differences happen. And I hear this from people who've tried mushrooms. Obviously, not us, people we've heard it from, Swim. That sometimes mushroom consumption can make things seem too large or too small compared to what they should. Yeah, like, perspective of size becomes a bit funky.
Funky.
But yeah, so you listen to that slightly trippy song. Have you listened to anything else?
I listened to anything else. Oh my god. No.
The only other thing I started listening to is I finally became a Max Fun donor, because...
I thought you became a Max Fun donor last year as well.
Well, yeah, but, like, I did my thing again and was like, oh yeah, I'm a Max Fun donor. You know what I should do? I should listen to some of that bonus content. Because, like, I started listening to it once and I just forgot it was there.
But there's so much of it.
Yeah, well, that's the problem. There's so much of it. So I did the thing where I'm like, oh yeah, let's go Max Fun thing. Oh yeah, I am a Max Fun donor. Okay, I'll update my thing, because so much of my week is listening to fucking Max Fun podcasts. They make a lot of shows I enjoy. And I got back into having a listen. I started listening to my sister-in-law and me.
Miss Swim.
Miss Swim Swam. Yeah, I started listening to Miss Swim Swam, which is all of the wives of the Mabimbam hosts doing a Mabimbam type episode like themselves. That's really fun. I very much enjoyed, there is a one from this year, which is Trends Like These doing a show all about the terrible movie Grease 2.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Reproduction.
So yeah, I've started dipping into the Max Fun bonus episode catalogue. There's a lot of stuff in there.
Nice.
Would you like a link at some point to have a
would.
listen as well? Okay. I'll send you a link. Is that everything we've listened to?
I think that's everything we listened to.
Well,
so
time for this.
Woo. This is a British information film. This week, it's never too late to improve your real-life D&D stat sheet.
Indeed. You could go back to school and increase your medicine statistics.
Go to the gym, increase your strength.
Take up needlepoint and improve your dexterity.
All of your stats can be improved, even your magic stats. That is, if you learn that trick about sawing a person in half and how that works.
Indeed. So, remember, you have many statistics in this life, and there is always time to learn and improve and level up that character sheet.
Indeed. You could eat some McDonald's and level up your constitution.
So, remember, what kind of stat sheet will you have?
You may have heard people saying that this is truly the worst timeline. Well, scientists have proved that that is very definitely the case. However, we have been contacted by one of the better timelines, and they are offering people of oppressed minorities the chance to be relocated into a much better, nicer timeline where they can be safe from all the bigotry and hatred.
Why not try out Timeline 84C, in which minority groups aren't oppressed, and it's not a constant daily struggle just to get by.
Thanks to the lack of bigotry in this universe, we find that science is centuries ahead of what it is here.
Without everyone just, squabbling with each other over meaningless things and actually working towards common goals, this particular universe actually made some progress. Things got better.
So consider coming to another universe where we can look after you and you will be loved, cared for, and respected.
We will warn you, however, this universe doesn't have good donuts. You will have to put up with that.
Story time. It's time for story.
What's the story?
It's the thing we're gonna make up in a minute.
Oh, I'm ready for some prompts.
Oh, yours that matchup.
It is a matchup, but it's not a shiny one. See, I successfully did this with no one knowing in a dice funk. I forgot that you might just mention it every 2 minutes. You're blowing my cover, Jane.
I've blown it, but apparently I can't make it fall off and make you strip the rest of the way. So yeah, we've had some suggestions.
We have.
I quite like the idea of putting some of them together.
So do I.
Yeah.
That is somewhat the idea we have here.
Hydrob has suggested a magical dog with laser eyes.
Okay, I can go with that.
Becky Toohill has suggested his parents christened him Ryder and were shocked but not disappointed when instead of another horse racer in the family, they wound up with a porn star. So I quite like the idea of the name Ryder.
Yeah, but presumably not for the laser-eyed dog.
Maybe.
Do we really want to make a story about a porn-acting dog?
I wasn't going to make it a porn-acting dog, I was just going to make it a dog called Ryder.
You were just going to take the rider bit, but not the racer versus porn thing.
Yeah.
Okay, I can go with the laser dog called Ryder if we scrap the... I don't want to tell the dog porn story.
I was going to tell a dog porn, there's never going to be a dog porn story.
Well, you put
This
two
isn't
things
badly
together. I assumed we were combining them fully.
This isn't badly designated heroes where we spend every week vaguely discussing the morality of having sex with polymorphed people. Or wild-shaped druids.
If you want that discussion, just go check out the Animorphs books. Wow. Yeah.
Ostigal has suggested a turtle who wishes to be a merchant prince of Venice. So I quite like the idea that we have... Tricky has also suggested Darmok and Jalad at Brighton Pride, but that's a reference to Star Trek The Next Generation, and I had to Google that to remember it myself, to be fair. So, let's have Darmok the turtle,
Okay.
who has dreams of becoming a merchant prince of Venice.
Okay, we need a voice for them.
What's a good turtle voice?
I think that's a good turtle.
You think that's a good turtle voice?
What's your name again?
Darmok the turtle.
Darmok the turtle.
Yes. How about this? Darmok the turtle raises all the money selling custom-made porn.
Okay.
Not turtle porn, necessarily.
This
Could
is
be human.
This is a turtle selling good, good, honest... I was going to say good, honest Christian porn.
Good Christian porn. Hot Jesus on Jesus action.
Hot Jesus on certain certain broody superhero porn.
I was going to suggest he could do interesting things with his handholds, but...
Okay.
How about Darmok the turtle is trading dogs across the lands?
Oh, so this is where Ryder comes into the story.
And then Ryder the dog is like, no, I have laser eyes, uprise my doggy companions.
Okay, this film now feels like it's some kind of allegory for the pressed class, rising up above the bourgeoisie, but told with laser-eyed dogs and turtles.
Are you sitting comfortably?
Yes.
Then let's begin. Once upon a time, there was a turtle called Darmok who had dreams of becoming a merchant prince of Venice. Oh, I long to slowly gather all of the wealth and gain enough of the wealth to have political influence over all of Venice.
Over time, I've realised that this voice is basically salad fingers.
I like collecting rusty spoons.
I like collecting
I like...
political influence.
I'm collecting political influence. Now it sounds like Thor Heard. Hello, loves, I'm collecting political influence.
How were they collecting political influence, my dear?
Darmok the turtle was selling dogs. All across Europe.
We don't like being sold and bought.
Oh, shush.
Ah!
I'll bop you on the head with this spoon. You started it.
Is it a rusty spoon?
No, I keep my spoons in very good order, thank you. Legally distinct, you know. That's right, I'll bop you on the nose with my spoon.
This is very, very mean and distressing things you're doing to these dogs.
I'm shipping you all across Europe to sell to all the fancy people, so that they shall have the finest. You, if you stop. Well, I learned this in a particular land which I can't remember. They did foot binding, and I will do teacup binding. This is how we make teacup dogs.
And then, at this moment, we see from the back of the room a dog sort of rise up to the front of the ranks and just sort of sternly look at our antagonist, and this dog sort of goes, ruff, 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 ruff.
Don't make me use the spoon.
No, ruff, ruff, you have no idea who you're messing with. Ruff, ruff. I'm Riser, ruff, and I have laser eyes.
Listen, I ship you all over the place, and you get bought by rich people. That's how it works.
At this point, Ryder melts the spoon with laser eyes.
That was my favourite spoon. Now look at it, it's all melty. You can't pick up trifle with this.
Ruff, ruff. It turns out we actually have some strength. Also, we have the numbers as the class that has the numbers. Rise up, dogs. Today we attack the ruling class. Bark, ruff.
And with that, all the dogs rode up and killed Darmok the turtle. And then they started a workers' union.
And the moral of the story is, remember, you have the numbers. The ruling class cannot stop you. What do we call this story?
There are many, many balk of us than you.
Yes, that's the name. There are many, many balk of us than you.
There are many, many balk of us than you.
There are many, many balk, many, many balk, many, many balk of us than you.
Also, big love to Leeds Pride, which happened on Sunday. Because it looks like they had a really good time.
Yeah.
And a very good event.
I'm glad they had a good.
Many big loves to them.
Many big good.
While on the subject of trans prides, Brighton Trans Pride have started advertising. They've got a givey. I recently shared it on my Twitter. So if you fancy helping that happen.
Is this a fundraiser to help the running costs of the
Yes.
event? Because it's a fully volunteer run event,
Yes.
I believe.
Yes.
Yes.
And they are still trying to keep the police as far away from it as possible.
Indeed.
Because a lot of us do not feel comfortable around the police. So.
I will do my best to give it a share as well. We will both be there, I believe.
Yeah.
I will be there selling my book, which will have been out like 2 days at that point, which is very scary.
I will be standing behind her holding a handbag.
Messenger
bag.
I will be there like, buy my book, please.
You will be swamped, I've no doubt.
We'll see how
Although
it goes.
there'll actually probably be a good number of people there that have already bought it.
We shall see how it goes.
Mm-hmm. So, time for this. What do you want to know? I want to see more of.
What do you want to see more of?
Hello, Larry.
Hello, how you doing?
I'm not too bad, mate. How are you?
I'm alright. It's been a long weekend. I'm not appreciating the that hour of sleep I lost out on, but...
Yeah, stole our bloody sleep.
Oh, I know. Where they even put that hour of sleep? Everyone that lost an hour of sleep, there's so many hours of sleep just being squirreled away somewhere.
Do you think, like, there's a warehouse somewhere full of those hours of sleep?
Oh, the thought of hoisting the daylight savings extra sleep hours warehouse, that's a crime of the century right there.
Do you think perhaps, like, the wealthy are just stealing, maybe they're not putting their clocks forward and they're just taking all of the time from the poor?
Oh, that's a proper diabolic. That's a story right there.
It is perhaps so.
For story time, I would proper enjoy a story about that.
Well, perhaps there's someone will suggest it. I'll write it in as a suggestion for next week, maybe.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so, what you been up to much?
Oh, it's been a long week. A long week. I've had lots of complicated situations going on with the people in my life, you see.
Yeah.
And as is the way, often when things get a bit complicated, there's a lot going on. It can be easy to get a bit overwhelmed and forget to maybe be as communicative as is important. And it's just got me thinking about the importance of communication.
Yeah, definitely. It's very important to sort of stay on top of communication, check up on people, make sure that, you're making yourself understood and heard in relationships and so forth.
Yeah, I think, it's easy to forget that conversations, particularly with people that, are in your life long term and are important in your life, it can be sometimes easy to forget that, not only have they got a side of the conversation and you should be, listening and trying to assess their needs and, paying attention to what they say and taking their thoughts on, importantly, but it's also important to, express your own side of things. It's important to, not be afraid to go, here are my needs, here are my feelings, to not necessarily feel like you have to bottle them up and can't share them. And it's important to talk about what you're feeling, nice and early. Yeah. Rather than letting it bottle up into some big thing. Because if you let your feelings bottle up and you don't communicate them, they will come out eventually. They'll just come out as a angry shout or a cry, or they'll come out as more of an intense emotion than they necessarily needed to be.
And potentially a much more negative emotion.
Well, yeah, it's that indeed, isn't there?
Yeah. And obviously you want to try and, get these things as soon as possible. And, I know it's not always that easy. Sometimes people have anxiety issues and they can't talk about a moment exactly as it happens or when it happens. Yeah, but remembering to sort of come back to that and express that and keep up levels of communication as an ongoing thing, and never finding that you're afraid to talk to someone about anything.
But and particularly it's really important to, if your thoughts and opinions on something change within a relationship, be that a friendship, a romantic relationship, whatever it should be, if your thoughts and feelings and perspectives change, it's important that you communicate that, because, no person is a mind reader. No person can, 100% of the time tell exactly how you're feeling, and it's important to not just assume that the people in your life will know that your perspective and feelings and thoughts are changed. It's important that you express that and you go, hey, this is what the situation was. It has changed. Let's talk it through.
Yeah, absolutely. Because everyone's got their own lives and, things will be changing, and it is important to make sure that everyone is up to date to that and on the same page so that pardon the buzzword there, but just so that you can make sure that you're all still speaking the same language.
Yeah, exactly. And, the more people are involved in a situation, particularly, it is more important than ever to communicate those things as they go on.
Absolutely.
Yeah. You want a hug?
Always, mate, always. Thank you very much.
I like how much we communicate.
I definitely do. I think it's good that we make the time to talk about the things that are bothering us and bothering the world, and some of it's just about letting off steam, and some of it's just bonding as people.
It's good that we make time for that.
Yeah, definitely.
It's a good hug.
Good hug, mate. Definitely. Yeah. Right. Should we put the kettle on, mate?
Yeah, maybe have that cup of tea.
Yeah.
Laura!
Yeah?
Where can we find you on the internet, darling?
Laura K. Buzz, pretty much everywhere. Laura K. Buzz on Twitter, Twitch and YouTube. You can find me Monday to Friday, 9 to 5 at kotaku.co.uk. You can find me on Dice Funk. It's a 5th edition Dungeons & Dragons podcast. I'm on seasons 3, 4 and 5. You can find me in a couple of books. Uncomfortable Labels, which is my memoir that's coming out on July 18th, and Things I Learned from Mario's Butt, which is happening probably a couple of months after that, I would guess. In the summer, it'll probably be out. What about you, Jane? Where are you at?
Where am I at? I am Maniac Janiac on Twitter and YouTube. I'm Janiac on Twitch, where I stream usually Tuesdays and Thursdays now, because I'm trying to get that affiliate status.
Both of them? Ooh.
Both of them. Both of them, oh my goodness. I'm on stonedmonkeyradio.blog, where I do some writey things. I'm also on Patreon, Stoned Monkey Radio. You don't have to donate anything right now. I just wanted to make sure I didn't get all the charges that they want to put on you people.
Oh no.
I think that's it. I'm on Badly Designated Heroes, which is a 5th edition real play D&D podcast, and I played Trees the Furbog, and I've got a dog Horsey. I don't know if it's that episode that's going up soon, but there is a special episode coming up soon that you guest DM'd.
Guest DM'd a one-shot that will be up soon or is up. We played not 5th edition. We played a little one-page thing.
You can find out about that nearer the time. So Laura, darling, sing us out.
Until next time, be a stranger.
Ooh, I will.